But it's hard to let go of what you've been holding on to for so long, even if it's not working anymore. It's really hard to let go. It's like, beg you, see it differently. I beg you to let go. It's not normal. It's just old.
It's time to drop it and move forward. You may be a product of your past, but you don't have to be a prisoner of your past.
Everything that's inflexible and everything that's not ready and everything that's backwards and everything that's negative and everything that's carnal and everything that's holding me back, I refuse to take it over into another year and waste another new year with an old mind. The devil is a lie.
Just because you're used to it doesn't make it normal.
Some of you are taking too much time trying to convince people to love you that do not matter. Tolerating and trying to get people engaged that don't matter, that don't care, that are never ever going to help you get into your destiny.
I came to preach to somebody who everybody else might have given up on you. And life might not be where you want it to be, and you might not have been what you could have been, but it's not too late to become who you are.
Every single time I hear about an issue, every single time I hear another story of pain, every single time I see a seemingly impossible situation, I smile wryly because I know by the grace of God and by His power, I have a testimony. Come on, it is never too late.
Kiss that wrong self-image goodbye. Victory starts in your thinking. Abundance, it starts in our mind. You can't think the same way and expect different results. Start embracing who God says you are.
I want to tell you something today. The moment you make up your mind to get up, you can get up. And no devil in hell, no government, no power, no boss, or anything else can hold you. Once you are free in your mind, you are free.
I've seen God open doors. I've watched God make my enemies my footstool. I've seen God make a way out of nowhere. I've seen people who were against me that God made them love me. I saw circumstances that should have taken me out, but God stepped in right on time.
See, many things we don't do because of the fact we want people to like us. There's some necessary losses in life. When you decide acting in your best interest, you're going to lose some friends. Everybody's not going to approve of you. There's some people that won't like you. Who do you think you are? You're arrogant. What do you think you can do? You're selfish. Thanks, I got that.
Poor thinking habits keeps most people poor, not poor working habits. Most people work hard, but they don't think hard. The mind is like a factory, a mental factory. And whatever you think about all day long pours ingredients into this mental factory. And that's what builds the economic, social, financial fabric of your life. As you think, so you become.
Program your mind, because all that you will do or not do, have or not have, accomplish or not accomplish, will be a direct derivative of what's going on inside of your mind. So if you don't get clear thinking on an issue, you won't be able to develop in that area. Look at somebody and say, it's time for a change. Well, what stops us? What stops us from making the changes that we need in our behavior, in our situation? It's the mind.
If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things. But you have to make a conscientious decision that you're going to change. And it's not dependent on anybody else. It don't matter what your mama think. It don't matter what your coworkers think. It don't matter what your siblings think. It don't matter. This decision is yours and yours alone.
People want to know how to stop the laziness, and they want to know how to stop the procrastination. They have some idea in their head, some kind of a vision, what they want to do, but they don't know where to start. They don't know where to start it, you know? They don't know where to start. And so they say, hey, Where do I start? And when's the best time to start? And I have a very simple answer for that. Here and now.
Nothing that's happened to you is a surprise to God. Before He laid out the plan for your life, He already knew every person who would hurt you, every mistake you would make, every loss you would go through. And the good news is, for every setback, God has already arranged to come back. For every disappointment, a new beginning. For every failure, restoration. You have to put your foot down and say, that's it. I may have gone through some disappointments. I may have made some mistakes, but I'm not going to waste the time I have left worried about what I could have done better, upset over what didn't work out. I'm stepping out of the was, and I'm coming over into the is. I'm dropping the offense, dropping the failure, dropping the hurt. I'm not living my life with any more baggage. I'm going to live my life free.
What are you thankful for? Do you thank God daily for even little things? I thought the other day what it must be like for people that can't walk and have to use a wheelchair just to get out of bed in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and have to do it. Thank God my legs are still working. Thank God I can see and hear and I can still work. Thank God that my life is bearing good fruit. There's so much to be thankful for. And the more thankful we are, the happier we get and the madder the devil gets.
One of the best things I've learned is to trust God's timing and trust His ways. What God promised will come to pass, but it may not happen the way you think, may not be when you had planned. If you're trying to control the outcome and control the time frame, you're going to live worried. You have to release control. Release having to have it happen your way. God already has it figured out. He knows the end from the beginning.
God may be giving you more to work with than what you are working with at this time. You may have far more things that you can potentially do than what you're doing right now. That's why I don't like to hang with low-thinking people, because they'll make you underutilize what God has given you. You need somebody to challenge you that you could be doing more than what you're doing right now. You could have more than you have right now, and somebody's got to be bold enough to look you in the face and empower you to go into the enemy's camp and take back what he stole from you.
We find ourselves announcing our standards to our relatives, our friends, our associates. We shout our beliefs and condemn those who believe any differently, but then we don't walk the talk. We end up acting in a way far different from the beliefs we've shouted. This is inconsistent. This leads to a loss of credibility among those who watch us. And more importantly, this leads to a loss of credibility within ourselves. The only thing worse than one who is inconsistent in applying their self-imposed disciplines is one who has never considered the need or the value of discipline at all.
So what kind of courage do you have? Is yours sort of floating between depending on the situation? Or do you know the difference between right and wrong for your life? And you've made up your mind. Our mind is the control tower of our life. All of our decisions are there. And the truth is, whatever we are today is the result of what we've been thinking about all those years. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you don't like what's going on around you, maybe you should ask yourself the question, what am I thinking about? What do I think about myself? What do I think about other people?
Upset because your plans didn't work out. It's time to kiss some things goodbye. Don't bring bitterness into a new year. Don't bring self-pity, a chip on your shoulder. That was in your past. It doesn't belong in the future. You cannot embrace the new things God has in store as long as you're holding on to the old.
What we think about is really what controls us. This is the control tower, that everything else is a result of how we think. And we can't control everybody else and control of all of our circumstances, but we are going to respond to circumstances in one way or the other. And so what you have to ask is this: what is it that determines what I think? This mind of yours controls everything else in your life.
Isn't it crazy how one decision can wreck the next 50 years of your life? One dumb thing. Young people, please don't make big decisions too soon. And there's nothing as reprehensible as spending the rest of your life living with the consequences of a dumb thing you could have avoided. One thing about God, he is justice, but he's also mercy. If he were not a God of a second chance, this whole church would be empty right now. And most of us are probably on our 16th, 25th chance, not our second chance.
What you did back there ain't got nothing to do with what God got for you. Do you know, man, that you can actually mess your life completely up and you can turn around and get it right? I lost everything twice. I'm just trying to tell you, man, God is really with you. You can make all the mistakes you want to make. God is in the forgiving business.
You learn as you go. All of a sudden, God says, in the chaos, I am going to give you an opportunity to correct the mistakes of your past. I will not hold against you the bad choice of yesterday if you will correct it with the good choice of today. Opportunity comes in chaos. A chance to get it right. A chance to make a U-turn.
Everybody in your life will have a turn back moment. You're going to have such a period in your life where it seems like it's not working. You're going to have a lot of trials and tribulations and challenges. And everybody has what's called a turn back moment, where the direction you're going, you will have to make a decision to keep going or you turn back.
In the middle of a chaos, it changed the trajectory of destiny through a choice that was pushed out in the middle of a chaos. Don't run from the chaos. Stand still and let the chaos run from you. It is good to be uncomfortable. I've never met anybody who was terribly creative or strong in leadership who was also comfortable. Those exceptional people who are uncomfortable with the times and rise to the challenge because they refuse to allow the chaos around them to determine the conqueror within them. People who resist the toll to go down and stand fiercely in spite of opposition and say, I'm going to do it anyway. Move this mountain. It is not what your country can do for you. It is what you can do for your country. All of these statements are born out of bad times, not good times. It is the chaos of the time that creates the conqueror in the man. So when God gets ready to reveal to you what you have in you, he will often place you in the midst of chaos to push you. Toothpaste out of a tube, it won't come out without pressure. Don't come against me now. I just lost my job. Don't come against me now. I'm going through a divorce. Don't come against me now. They're downsizing at my company. Don't come against me now. I'm not sure of myself. But it is the insecurity of the times that defines who you really are. You will not be challenged in your convenience. You will be challenged in your chaos.
Don't be defined by your mistakes. We can all look back and see times where we gave in to temptation. It's easy to be defined by one moment in life, by divorce, by how we raised our children. The enemy is called the accuser. He would love to convince you to let that one mistake to cause you to live down on yourself. You may have failed, but you are not a failure.
Don't let that mistake define who you are. People will try to define you by your mistakes. Remind you of all the times you failed, the times you didn't measure up. Some people will choose to remember your failures more than your victories. Despite the time you make sacrifices to help others, but when you make one mistake, don't be surprised if people don't try to convince you to live condemned. Well, God's not going to bless you. You went through the divorce. You gave in to temptation. Just sit on the sidelines. They don't determine your destiny. The only one that can stop you is you. If you wear labels that people stick on you, that will keep you from your destiny. You can't stop them from putting labels on you, but you can take them right off. I'm defined by what God says about me. I'm forgiven. My past is over. My failures are in my yesterday. And you know what? I'm not bringing them into today. What about the mistake? It's covered by mercy. What about the divorce? The times I've blown it, that's over and done. God is not judging you by one mistake. Why are you beating yourself up? Why have you settled where you are? There is an incredible future awaiting you. If you'll remove the labels that are telling you everything you're not, that doesn't have to stop you. The enemy would love for you to go through life living condemned, failure, unworthy. Do yourself a favor. Take off those labels and put on what God says about you. Forgiven, blessed, victorious. The good news is God doesn't judge us by one mistake, or for some of us by 10,000 mistakes. You may have counted yourself out. God has already counted you in. That mistake is not who you are, it's what you did. That one bad season doesn't determine the rest of your life. Here's the key. God doesn't define us by our mistakes. He refines us by our mistakes. That addiction that you're struggling with, that is a season, not a lifetime. Don't let it become permanent. Put on some new labels: free, whole, restored. You may have made mistakes, but you have to learn to forgive yourself. Sometimes we can forgive others easier than we can forgive ourselves. I blew my marriage, wasted years of my life on drugs. You can't change what's behind you, but you can do something about what's in front of you. God's mercy is bigger than any mistake that you've made. Quit dwelling on everything you've done wrong, how you didn't control your temper. The moment you ask God to forgive you, He forgave you. Quit replaying your failures, thinking of the times that you didn't measure up. That's just making you more guilty, more condemned. God knows we're not perfect. He knows we're going to make mistakes. God already knew it was going to happen. You're still going to accomplish your dream. You're still going to meet the right person. Now do your part. God is saying, get back in the game. There will be times God takes you into things you don't understand. The door closed. The contract didn't go through. Thinking, God, I was being my best. What did I do wrong? Some doors are supposed to close. Some opportunities are not supposed